So what's up, guys? Today's video is going to be on a Kobalt 30-gallon air compressor. It's got an electric motor, 2-cylinder compressor. A friend of mine was moving and this had stopped working a while back, and he just hadn't had time to really look into it and he didn't want to move it. We kind of trade things here and there, so I had given him some walnut lumber a while back when I moved, but now he gave me this because he knows I like to fix things and whatnot. So it was really greasy, really oily, so I got it cleaned up, and then just kind of checked basic things. So the motor turns on, but it just doesn't really build any pressure. He didn't have a fitting on here. I'm assuming when it stopped working and he bought a new compressor, that he replaced the quick coupling here. So I put a quick coupling there just to see if it'd build pressure. It was not. Where the air line goes into the tank, I did hit it with a little soapy water. There was a little air coming out around that compression fitting, and so I tightened that up, and it's still not building pressure. I've got maybe 15, 20 PSI in it, but that's about the most that it'll build up. I have verified. I've got the valve down here. Listen. So it's holding pressure in there. So I know the check valve that goes down into the tank is working properly. It's just unable to build enough pressure to get it up to normal operating pressures. So while it was running, up here I've got the two intakes, intake for each cylinder. And while it's running, if I put my finger over this one, it is sucking air in. I can definitely tell it's sucking air in. This one, on the other hand, is blowing air out, and it shouldn't be. So I think the issue with this is up in the head, there's a valve plate, and it's like little, basically two little metal flaps that as it sucks air in, it allows air to go into the cylinder, and then it's supposed to close and it compresses that air. The high pressure valve will open so that it goes to the tank. So I suspect that is the issue. So I'm gonna get some tools, get you in a little closer, and we'll take a look. Okay, so obviously you wanna make sure it's unplugged before you start this. And this takes a 5mm Allen wrench, and there's just 4 bolts here. Now, before I broke those loose, I probably should have broke this crossover airline loose, but I'm gonna see if there's enough flex here that I can pop this head off and get a look under there. No, it doesn't appear so. So I'm gonna run these back down, tighten them down, and loosen my crossover pipe. Okay, I've got my compression nut loose here. My little cooling fins slide back. There's a little copper ferrule. I don't know if I'll be able to get that to seal back up, but let's go ahead and pull this head off. All right, let's see what we got. I see one issue. So under here it looks kind of how I would expect it, but I don't know if you can see right here, this gasket is broken. Let me get you in here a little closer. Okay, so you can see this gasket between the two chambers is broken. This piece obviously goes there, but there's a whole chunk there missing. So the gasket on the bottom side is completely sealed up, but you can see there's a lot of junk in there. So I'm guessing that it just ate that part of the gasket. There's a lot of stuff in there. No scarring or anything, so that's good. I bet that is my issue. So I've got some gasket material, and I could order this replacement gasket, and I'll actually try to find some links to this gasket and maybe this valve plate, and I'll put them down in the description. But I think I'm just gonna try to get that gasket off of there and preserve as much of the shape as I can, and then just cut one out of the gasket material that I have here. All right, so got this on the bench. Here is my sheet of gasket material. It's roughly the same thickness. And so I'm gonna try to get this one off, and I'll just trace it out on here and cut it out, put it in place. So I got one half of it off. And remember, I just need the basic outer shape. So as long as I can piece these together and get the right size and shape, I should be good. Well, yeah, that kind of hosed it up. But the good thing is, it's a very symmetrical design. So all I got to do is, I basically have one half of it here. I just got to flip it over. All right, so I got half of it traced out there. And now I'm just going to flip it. And trace out the other side. And obviously on something like this, measurements aren't super critical. And so I'm just going to get a straight edge and go between my 2 points here. All right, so these holes, you can cut them with a razor knife, but I've got some punches that I just got from Harbor Freight that will just hit it with a hammer, and it'll punch that right out. All right, I got my holes punched. And now I usually cut out the inner, more intricate details first, and then I'll cut the final shape. That way I have something to grip onto. Okay, there you go, new gasket. Obviously it would have taken me less time if I didn't have this on my lap. I'm gonna clean the top of that piston off, and then I'll get this reassembled. Just have a little mineral spirits on a rag. All right, go moment of truth. Now you can see we're still holding that about 10 PSI, and fire it up. So it was building. I definitely have a lot more suction on this side than I do on this side. That could be because this filter's blocked up. I don't know. That filter's pretty gross. Run it without a filter just to see if it improves. Well, definitely some more suction now. And I am building pressure. Not super quick, but there could be some wear in that cylinder. All right guys, so next day, everybody's awake now, so I ran it, and you can see I built 150 PSI. This was a couple hours ago, and it's leaked off about 5 PSI. This shut off, turns the compressor off at 155 PSI, so there is a small leak, but I'm gonna call it good. It did take a little longer than I'm used to build to that pressure. The CFM on this is 6.2 at 40 PSI, and my current compressor is like 11 point something at 40 PSI, so this is, takes almost twice as long. So that's why I was thinking that maybe it was still defective, but I think it's just a little bit slower compressor than I'm used to. So I think we're all good. I'll post links to both those filters and gasket kit and a valve plate if I can find them. Look down below if you have kind of these same symptoms with your compressor. These may help you out. If you like what I do, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Let me know if this helped you out. Till next time, we'll see you later.